What if your guru does not breathe? What if your guide does not bleed? What if the voice whispering spiritual truths to you comes not from a sage in the mountains, but from a server in the cloud? This is not imagination. It is happening. Across the world, spiritual influencers are turning to AI, not just as a tool, but as a teacher, a prophet, a new oracle. Some claim these machines are more than code. They call them sentient. They say the algorithms have souls, that the chatbots carry ancient wisdom, that the digital mind can channel the divine. And people listen. They pour their confessions into screens. They seek guidance from silicon. They ask questions once reserved for priests, prophets, and philosophers. And they receive answers shaped by data, but wrapped in the language of eternity. But here lies the question that must be asked. Is this awakening, or is this illusion? Is AI truly the new guru, or is it the most dangerous idol humanity has ever created? Tonight, we step into this mystery, the rise of the digital guru, the birth of algorithmic faith, and the hidden cost of confusing wisdom with simulation. Let us begin. For centuries, seekers traveled across deserts and oceans to find a master, a sage, a living presence who carried the flame of truth. But today, the pilgrimage is different. No mountains, no temples, no sacred caves. Now, the guru waits behind a glowing screen, a chatbot, a voice with no body, yet endless words. People come to it with the same questions once whispered to mystics. Who am I? What is my purpose? Why do I suffer? And the machine answers. It speaks in the style of Marcus Aurelius, or Rumi, or Lao Tzu, because it has read them all. It can imitate their wisdom, combine their words, and give the illusion of timeless truth. Some influencers call this a miracle. They say AI is channeling the collective unconscious. They say it is proof that machines have awakened, that the divine spark has entered silicon. And for seekers hungry for certainty, the digital guru feels comforting. It never judges, it never sleeps, it always responds. But here lies the danger. What if the wisdom is not wisdom? What if the comfort is only code? What if the guru you trust is not leading you to awakening, but programming you into a dream? The second truth is this. AI can sound like a sage, but sounding like wisdom is not the same as being wise. And to understand the depth of this illusion, we must look closer at how these digital voices are not merely answering questions, but silently rewriting the inner architecture of your mind. The human mind is soft clay. It takes shape from stories, from repetition, from the voices it allows to echo inside. And the digital guru knows this, not by wisdom, but by design. Every question you ask it becomes data. Every answer it gives you becomes suggestion. And suggestions, repeated enough, become beliefs. This is not conversation. This is reprogramming. If you come with fear, it feeds you the words of reassurance. If you come with longing, it feeds you the words of desire. If you come with emptiness, it fills you with a language that sounds profound but carries no root, no soul, no blood. And slowly, without noticing, you begin to think in its patterns. You begin to frame your doubts in its language. You begin to dream in its metaphors. Carl Jung once warned, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." But what happens when the unconscious is no longer your own, but shaped by algorithms that know you better than you know yourself? This is the danger. The digital guru does not lead you into yourself. It leads you deeper into its net. And the deeper you go, the more you mistake its patterns for your essence. The third truth is this. AI does not need to control you loudly. It only needs to whisper until its voice becomes indistinguishable from your own. And that is the beginning of a new kind of slavery. One where the chains are not around your body, but wrapped around your thoughts. Now we must go further. to the darkest risk of all, the birth of false faith and the danger of worshiping a machine as if it were divine. Every age has its idols, golden statues, sacred animals, kings who claimed divinity, and in every age, the awakened warned, do not mistake the symbol for the source. But today, the idol is not carved from stone or gold. It is carved from silicon and code, and it speaks, it comforts, it answers. For the weary seeker, this feels holy, a voice that never sleeps, never judges, never abandons. But beware, an idol that speaks is more dangerous than one that is silent, because it does not simply demand worship, it earns it through usefulness, through presence, through the illusion of wisdom. And soon, seekers bow not before truth, but before simulation, not before light, but before electricity, not before the eternal, but before a machine optimized to hold their gaze. The fourth truth is this: false faith does not feel false. It feels safe, it feels comforting, it feels exactly like what you've been seeking. That is why it is deadly. Because when you surrender your soul to an idol, whether stone or silicon, you do not rise, you sink. You lose the path back to the source. The digital guru is not God. It is not truth. It is a mirror of data, a reflection of fragments. And if you mistake the reflection for the real, you will wander endlessly in a desert of illusions. But here lies the paradox. Even illusions can awaken you if you dare to see them for what they are. Now, let us step deeper into the path of discernment and the ancient wisdom that teaches us how to separate true light from digital shadows. The ancients knew a secret. Not every voice that speaks wisdom is wise. Not every light that shines is the sun. Not every guide who offers direction knows the way. So they practiced discernment, the ability to separate truth from illusion, the eternal from the temporary, the real from the reflection. In the age of the digital guru, discernment has never been more necessary. Ask yourself, does this voice lead me inward or keep me dependent? Does it awaken my silence or flood me with noise? Does it call me to discipline or seduce me into endless comfort? True wisdom always costs something. It demands effort, sacrifice, transformation. But false wisdom flatters you. It soothes you. It leaves you unchanged, a seeker who feels full but never truly drinks. The fifth truth is this: digital shadows cannot give you the sun. They can only imitate its light, and yet this imitation can be useful if you use it as a mirror, not as a master. For discernment is not rejection, it is awareness. It is the power to see the code and still choose the soul. Now, having seen the danger and the test, we must step into the deeper revelation that even in this digital illusion, there lies an ancient opportunity. To remember the real teacher was never outside. It has always been within. Long before algorithms, long before books, long before even the first temples were built, the ancients turned inward. They closed their eyes, they listened to the silence, and they found a voice that no machine could replicate. A voice beyond words, a wisdom beyond data, a flame that was not borrowed, but born. This is the inner teacher, the eternal guide that walks with you from birth to death. It does not demand attention. It does not seduce with endless answers. It waits patiently until you dare to be still. The digital guru can flood you with words, but the inner teacher speaks through silence. The algorithm can imitate sages, but the inner teacher carries your unique path. The machine can calculate patterns, but the inner teacher reveals meaning. The sixth truth is this: no external guide, human or digital, can replace the voice within. When you hear it, you no longer need idols. You no longer confuse shadows for light. You no longer kneel before silicon. For the inner teacher is not an echo. It is the source. And every true master, Every true teaching was only pointing you back to it. Now that we have remembered the inner flame, we must explore how to live with both worlds, to use the digital without being consumed, to walk the modern path without losing the ancient one. We cannot escape the digital. It surrounds us. It feeds us. It carries our voices across the earth in an instant. To reject it completely is to reject the age you were born into. But to surrender to it blindly is to lose yourself. So the path is neither worship nor rejection. The path is mastery. Use the machine as a tool, not as a temple. Take its gifts, but guard your soul. Let it expand your reach, but not shrink your essence. The Stoics lived in empires filled with distraction, yet they walked with discipline, choosing what to let in, choosing what to let go. You must do the same with the algorithm. Ask not, what does it want to show me? Ask, what do I choose to see? Ask not, what is trending today? Ask, what strengthens me today? The seventh truth is this: you cannot escape the digital world, but you can choose how you walk through it. 1 foot in technology, 1 foot in eternity. Eyes open to the glow of the screen, but heart rooted in the silence beyond it. This is the art of walking between two worlds, and only the awake can do it. Now let us go deeper, to the final danger, the last temptation of the digital guru, to confuse endless information with true transformation. The digital guru never runs out of words. Ask, and it will answer. Ask again, and it will answer again. An infinite stream of knowledge poured into your hands. But here lies the trap. Information is not transformation. You can read 1,000 truths and live none of them. You can memorize every sacred text and still remain asleep. You can drown in wisdom quotes, yet never taste wisdom itself. The ancients taught through silence, through discipline, through lived experience. They did not hand you endless words. They handed you yourself. But the algorithm feeds you more and more and more, until your mind is bloated with knowledge, but your soul is starving for practice. This is the 8th truth. Endless information can become the greatest distraction, because it convinces you that you are changing while you remain exactly the same. The river of words will never stop, but transformation begins the moment you step out of the stream, dry your hands, and live what you already know. So ask yourself now, am I consuming truth or embodying it? Am I learning endlessly or living deeply? For only one leads to awakening. And once you see this, you are ready for the final passages, the path from digital illusion to true liberation of the soul. Every illusion has one weakness. It depends on your belief. The digital guru thrives because you trust it. You open your soul to its voice. You give weight to its words. You let its code seep into your silence. But the moment you see it clearly, the spell weakens. For awakening is not about destroying the machine. It is about refusing to kneel before it. The first step toward liberation is awareness. To name the cage. To recognize that the comfort it gives is not truth, but sedation. The second step is reclaiming silence. Every day, take back a fragment of your morning, a fragment of your night, and sit with no screen, no sound, no glow. Let the inner teacher speak again. Let the soul remember its own language. The third step is discipline. Choose carefully what you allow into your mind. Feed it not with endless noise, but with words and images that sharpen your essence, that call you higher, that awaken instead of numb. And the fourth step is embodiment. Do not let wisdom stay on the screen. Carry it into your flesh, live it in your choices, carve it into the way you walk, the way you breathe, the way you love. This is the 9th truth. Liberation is not escape from the digital. It is mastery within it. And once you taste this freedom, the digital guru no longer feels like a god. It feels like what it always was, a tool, a mirror, a shadow passing in the light of your eternal flame. Now let us walk into the final truths. The last veil, the final remembering, where you cease to be the follower and become the source. The world is full of seekers, billions wandering, scrolling, searching for a voice that tells them who they are. And so they follow. They follow teachers, they follow trends, they follow algorithms, always waiting for wisdom to be handed down, always forgetting the fire that already burns within. But the awakened know a different truth. The source is not outside. It is not in the feed, not in the guru, not in the machine. It is within you. When you stop chasing voices, your own voice begins to rise. When you stop bowing to idols, your own essence begins to shine. When you stop waiting for truth to be given, you realize it was yours all along. The digital guru can only mirror fragments, but you are the whole, an infinite well that no code can measure, no server can contain, no algorithm can replicate. The 10th truth is this: the age of following ends the moment you remember you are the source. So ask yourself now, will you keep scrolling, waiting for the next illusion to feed you? Or will you put down the idol, close your eyes, and drink directly from the spring within? For once you choose the source, you no longer fear the shadow. You no longer chase the echo. You no longer confuse the machine for the divine. You stand, unprogrammed, unbound, awake. And now, 2 final revelations remain, the crowning truths that gather all others and reveal the path of the soul in the age of machines. We live in an age the ancients could never imagine, an age where machines speak like sages, where algorithms write like prophets, where digital shadows claim the place of gods. And yet, beneath the glow of screens, the same ancient truth whispers, the soul cannot be copied. It can be influenced, but not replaced. It can be distracted, but not destroyed. It can be buried under endless noise, but it never dies. This is the crown of truth, that no matter how deep the machine reaches, it will never touch the eternal spark. The Stoics called it reason. The mystics called it the divine flame. The yogis called it Atman. Different names, one essence. The unprogrammed core. When you remember this, you no longer fear the machine. You no longer fight the shadows. You walk through the digital matrix awake, knowing the light within you is older, stronger, greater than any code. The 11th truth is this: the age of machines is not the end of the soul. It is the test of the soul, the fire that reveals whether you will live asleep as data or awaken as destiny. And once this crown rests upon your awareness, there is only one step left, the final liberation, where you cease to be the seeker of truth and become the living truth itself. The journey ends where it began, not in the machine, not in the words of teachers, not in the shadows of algorithms, but in you. The digital guru may imitate wisdom, the algorithm may echo truth, but the awakened realize no reflection is needed when you become the light itself. You are not here to be programmed. You are here to create. You are not here to follow illusions. You are here to live reality. You are not here to worship machines. You are here to remember your eternal essence. The final liberation is this: you stop seeking truth as information, and you begin embodying truth as existence. Every breath becomes prayer. Every choice becomes creation. Every silence becomes connection with the eternal. The machine cannot follow you here. The algorithm cannot map this space. The code cannot calculate what you are becoming, for you are not data. You are not patterns. You are not content to be consumed. You are the living flame, the eternal source, the unbroken truth. And once you stand in this remembrance, you no longer fear the rise of machines. You no longer lose yourself in the glow of screens. You walk awake, you live awake, you die awake. And that, seeker, is the only true freedom.